right, what is cracking? What's popping? What's shaking, everybody? Happy Friday. This is another episode. This is episode 19 of the Comic Cinematic Universe. And as always, I have my co host. What up, Grace?
What's up, Chill? How's everybody doing?
Every.
Dude, we're 19. Episode 19 is
Mm-hmm,
today. Is that what you
mm-hmm,
said?
mm-hmm.
Wow. I remember how excited we were to do like episode 10, and that doesn't seem that long
Oh,
ago.
yeah. Yeah, like say now that we've gone like week to week now, like those numbers are going to keep rising. And then let's say a couple months from now, we're going to hit the triple digits. You know what I'm saying?
Dude, we're so professional. Look at us.
Oh man. Okay, so what we got on the agenda today? Today is going to. I mentioned it in the stream I just did just now. It's going to be a quick one. I told Grace, and I'm telling you all again. I am putting myself in the hurt locker, and I gotta mentally prepare for like this fight that I'm getting ready for. So today we're gonna try to fit it in within an hour, max it out at an hour 15. But as far as the topic at hand, we are going to be chatting about Peacemaker again. We're going to be chatting about episodes 4 and 5. And I just watched episode 5 today. Not going to lie. Kind of
Well, it just came out
crazy.
yesterday.
Yeah. kind
Yeah.
of crazy. So, yeah. Um, but yeah, before we get into that, I'm going to just, shameless plug the hat,
Do it.
plug the Team Chill shirt. Again, if you go to our YouTube, you're gonna see the link in our I don't even know, do we even have a bio? I think we have an about section. Yes, go to the about section, go to the link, and check out the merch. We got a little bit of everything on there.
And don't let him make you think there's only a Team Chill shirt, guys. Like, there's a Team Grace one as well. So make sure to check it out.
Yes.
Not that there's a competition, but we're gonna definitely tally things up.
Definitely. All right. So as far as where we're at, I'm gonna switch up the screens real quick. All right, so we're chatting about episode 4, and hold on, I'm a little flustered real quick. Hold on, I'm gonna put up another image of the Peacemaker up here just because I didn't do that for this go around. So, if you could, Grace, hold it down for literally 30 seconds.
Yeah. Well, you know something? Let's do this.
Boom,
We're
got it.
leaving on. Oh, just kidding. I was getting so ready. I'm like, you know what? Yes, I got it, guys. I got it. That was messed up.
Sorry.
Okay, let's dive in.
All right. So episode 4. Say episode 3 left off with because the father went to prison in episode 2, and then episode 3 was
We
we
left
get to see
off
the
with
butterflies,
them.
right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So Operation Project Butterfly is underway, and we actually get to see what the butterfly is by the end of episode 3. So enter episode 4. Episode
Yes.
4. How does episode 4 open? I forgot already.
So episode 4 starts off with the team essentially leaving where we just saw them kill all of these butterflies. We
Mm-hmm.
finally see what Project Butterfly is all about,
Mm-hmm.
which is pretty much hinted that it was going to be just as obvious as Project Starfish was in Suicide Squad 2.
Right.
And so they're leaving, and one of the questions that we had in our last episode, which with how the third episode left off is, what happened to the butterfly? Like, I think both of us had anxiety of like, kill the butterfly, like you're
Right.
just staring at
Right.
it.
Mm-hmm.
And so we are set up to believe at the start of this episode that Peacemaker shot the butterfly, because I think it was Harcourt who asks him, like, oh, what happened to the butterfly? He's like, I shot
Right.
it. And she says something along the lines of, like, would have been nice if you captured it. Like, I'm assuming so they can kind of learn more about it.
Yeah.
But oh well, at least it didn't escape. We obviously later find out that no, he didn't shoot it.
Right.
He did keep it, and he's keeping it somewhat like a pet. So that's kind of how this episode just starts out.
And I kind of like I'm not gonna lie, Vigilante's growing on me. And this episode, this is where like he's kind of using sarcasm at its finest. It's like, hey, thanks, for letting me get tortured because I knew it was, for the greater good, right? Like he said it with some salt behind it, but like I was about to call him John Cena. It doesn't matter, John Cena or Peacemaker. He reads it as he's like, oh well, thanks, and then he kind of sees the spice, and
Yeah.
with this kind of exchange, I like the idea of, because say at this point before we even move forward, like I like the idea that, let's say they're best friends, right? Or Vigilante wants them to be best friends, but
Yeah.
say at this point, I would have actually kind of liked it if, even though it didn't go in this direction, but let's say if hypothetically, because of what happened in that house and Peacemaker letting him get tortured like that, that kind of puts like a wrinkle in their friendship to where Vigilante just kind of like pieces out. That's where I thought
Yeah.
this would have could have gone, but obviously it didn't. Um, but yeah, that's where my mind went when I saw this car exchange.
Well, you know what? Friends quarrel. That's how a friendship gets stronger. I mean, this episode, like in that same exchange where they're, talking about what happened with the butterfly, Vigilante's like, I'm never gonna walk again. Like the pinky toe is the most important toe.
Mm-hmm.
And, we know that even though he's like super salty about the situation and the torturing, like that doesn't stop him from later in the episode, getting himself arrested and, trying to kill his father in like the name of their friendship. So we know
Mm-hmm.
the friendship stays strong. And I'll be honest, I kind of do like this scenario better because I feel like I mean, ideally you don't want any sociopaths in your friend group,
Right.
but when you have like someone who seems, Vigilante's loyal, like he's loyal to Peacemaker. He sent him like thousands of voicemails and messages when he was incarcerated at Belle Reve.
Yeah.
Not Belle, yeah, Belle Reve. When he came back, he was super like excited and happy. Like if I was going to decide of whether he'd be like a friend or foe, I much rather him be on my side. You know
Yeah.
what I
Oh,
mean? He's a
definitely,
ride or die.
definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
And
I was gonna say, like, just because of, if anything, him being ride or die, especially like they've kind of pointed it out in this episode and the next. It's like it's six people against an alien invasion, and by this point, if this is a black ops operation and we don't have anybody else from, like, any other survivors from Suicide Squad coming over into this team to help, then we need all hands on deck, no matter the situation. So like I guess I have more respect for Vigilante for kind of sticking around.
I'm loving him. And just because we're on the topic, I just kind of want to continue. So before we move on to like from the pinky toe, I was just curious because there's
Mm-hmm.
so much talk about like, oh, pinky toe being the most important toe. I
Mm-hmm.
looked it up, guys. I looked it up.
What did the internet say?
The per Google, of all your toes, your big toes are actually the most important. They play the most critical role in maintaining your balance. So our boy was really like worried. He's like, I'm just never gonna be the same. So he's gonna be just fine, guys. It was just the pinky toe. He'll
Right.
be all right.
And when it comes down to, I hate that we're going to be talking about feet right now, but like, say when it comes down to the pinky toe, just in general, like, say I've seen on multiple occasions the quote unquote sixth toe that people kind of talk about, which is not actually a toe, it's just more so, I can't even call it. I don't even know if it's like a knuckle or a metatarsal that's like on the outside of the pinky. But there's a little thing next to the pinky toe to where I feel like if your pinky toe is chopped off, you're still gonna be balanced, well balanced, no matter what, because you have that little thing on the outside. Yes, I'm a
We're
trainer,
learning so
but as
much.
far as human anatomy and toes go, I'm not too familiar.
We're learning so much about feet today, guys. This is
Right,
important. This
right.
is important. Don't neglect your feet.
Right.
And then the last thing I really wanted to talk about Vigilante in particular with this episode, as I was watching episode 5, I know I'm kind of getting ahead, but I looked at the actor because I'm like, same thing. Like this guy's growing on me. I'm really loving Vigilante here,
Mm-hmm.
And so the actor is Freddie Stroma.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if you recognize him from other projects.
I
I didn't,
didn't. I
but
didn't until you sent that picture.
the laundry list of things he's worked on, guys. Okay, first of all, the first one I saw in this blew me away because I'm a huge Harry Potter fan.
Mm-hmm.
This is Cormac McLagan. Can you
Oh, it's up. It's
drop
up
that
there.
out?
Don't worry.
Oh yeah,
I got you.
perfect. Cormac McLagan, the guy who is like up against Ron for that position in the in Quidditch. He was in 13 Hours with John Krasinski, Pitch Perfect,
Was he
Bridgerton.
in 13
Yes,
hours?
yes.
I gotta watch
He
that
was
again. I haven't seen that
in.
in so long.
I've seen all of these films, and oh, I love 13 Hours, and I'm like, I can't place him, but he's
Mm-hmm.
in that film. Game of Thrones. He's Dickon Tarly. I
He
think this
is
is Sam
Sam's
Tarly's
brother. Yeah,
brother.
younger brother.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and then this last one, he's been in so many other things, but this last one, it like got me really curious. And I think I'm gonna have to dive into it a little deeper. He's also credited for Suicide Squad, the 2021 film, the one just recently came out. And so he's credited as Adrian Chase, not Vigilante.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm wondering if there was like a deleted scene that we didn't end up seeing, or if it maybe he is in like say like the deleted scene where we see Peacemaker in the hospital, something like that, or maybe in Belle Reeve. So like there's so many questions as to where was he in Suicide Squad 2,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm assuming it's footage we weren't able to see. You know,
Yeah.
something that was left on the cutting room floor. But
Yeah.
that was my deep dive, guys. I was really excited to share that.
Oh no, like say initially when you sent me that picture from Harry Potter, I wouldn't have thought twice to actually think back as far as where this guy is from, you know? And of course, him in this Quidditch match, this is the guy that makes Ron super nervous, but then Ron thinks he takes what? The some type of potion to get him more confident to get the spot. And
Oh yeah, Felix Felices.
right,
Yes.
right. I know
So good luck.
this is
Yeah,
not a Harry Potter podcast. Okay, I'm just letting y'all know ahead of
it's
time.
about to be.
Yeah. But yeah, like say like Grace mentioned this guy, this actor, he I'm not too familiar with the quote unquote whole list of everything that he's been in, but as far as right here right now, he is more so uh I'd hate to say like he is the comedy of the show because initially in the movie Suicide Squad I would say John Cena was more so the comedic factor there, but here we're getting a little bit more dramatic with John Cena. It's like yes, it's a little funny, but at the same time it's getting dark, it's getting sad, you know, like with him and his feelings and everybody hating him to where you have Vigilante come in like on some happy go lucky, ready to kill anybody anytime, no matter what. And I feel like I don't want to say no. I'm not gonna say it. I was gonna say something like carrying the show, which he's not, but he's doing a great job at playing this character.
He's definitely a really good like compliment to John Cena's Peacemaker.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really loving how it's playing out. Like I can't get enough of the duo. I really like it for
Right.
sure.
Right. All right. So back to episode 4. Episode 4. They have the exchange, and then we make it back to their headquarters where Peacemaker finds out that they no. First, the guy drives him to his house, and then he finds out from the old man, the old neighbor, that his dad got arrested. Like his dad's in jail, and what do they call him? Do they call him Colorbeard? Is that his name? Not his name, but his nickname.
Diebeard.
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 Yeah, we find out, or he finds out that Diebeard put his dad in jail, and now it's I guess a quote unquote mission to kind of tell his dad's like, hey, I know this is kind of messed up, but this is kind of the thing I'm working on. But his dad is just on some just like, I'm not a rat, but I'm gonna tell them everything. And I didn't
That
want to
kind of
say
makes you
anything,
a
but
rat,
like,
bro.
yeah,
Yeah.
like when John Cena said, he's like, that technically makes you a rat, and I was like, yeah, like I'm glad he caught that.
Yes, yes, yes.
Mm-hmm.
And before any of that, or before he has that interaction with the neighbor and goes to see his dad in prison,
Mm-hmm.
when they're back at his dad's house, they go into his dad's fortress. And there's
Mm-hmm.
actually some pretty cool things that I picked up watching this on the second
Are
round.
you about to go into
Um,
like why that room is as big as it is?
I'm just everything, everything. I have like so many notes on that little like on that just whole scene. Like I rewinded a couple
Go
times.
for it.
So first thing is we do get like a clear shot of the white dragon suit. So we talked about it a little bit in the last episode. We it was established that his dad is referred to as the white dragon, not just in connections to like the KKK and white supremacy, but it's actually a nod to a character in the comics. And I think you have the image
Mm-hmm.
where you see kind of the comparison of the suit in the show and comparing it to the comics. It's pretty damn
Yes,
close. Like it's
it's almost like
very
spot on. Yeah.
absolutely. And something that Vigilante says to Peacemaker as he enters the fortress is there's gaps in the suit. Like there's weak points in the white dragon suit,
Mm-hmm.
right? In the armor.
Mm-hmm.
And something that this show is like continuously doing is someone's statement ends up becoming reality in like so many different instances, or it's almost foreshadowing something that's about to happen. And this is just too big of a nod for us to say it's not for us to just say it's like a one off. I feel like this is definitely going to come back in like maybe the finale of this season, right? We
Mm-hmm.
talked about it last time that we both assumed there's going to be some big conflict with Peacemaker and his dad. Like Peacemaker, like God bless his soul, he's like, I know my dad's horrible, but I love him, and so he's definitely having a lot of internal struggle with like who his dad is, but at the same time he's trying to like distinguish himself from like the racist values his dad has and be like, no, like I'm actually a superhero, I'm trying to like help, so there's
Right.
so much to unlock there, so
As
much.
far as foreshadowing goes, there's a part that I was eventually gonna get to here in episode 5, but I wanted to kind of bring it a little early just because you said it. The whole chainsaw idea, like we're gonna get to it, but I was thinking that we were gonna see something like that later on, and who knows, we may get that later on in the season from Vigilante. There's a scene to where Vigilante wants to use a chainsaw and they wouldn't let him, and then the show kind of goes towards somebody else using the chainsaw and he's salty. And I was really just kind of just waiting.
Oh,
I was like, man, I thought they were actually gonna maybe later on let him kill somebody with a chainsaw, but I feel like if anything, that may be it. That may be all we get from the quote unquote chainsaw foreshadow.
we got 3 more episodes, it's never too late,
Yeah,
never
yeah,
too
yeah,
late.
yeah.
And kind of like what you were mentioning, so something I thought was interesting, and I wonder if we're going to hear more about it, is I think in the situation with Peacemaker at the fortress, Vigilante almost plays like the role of us, like asking the question of like how the hell is all of this in the house,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
so it's apparently a quantum unfolding storage area leading to a dimensional nodule outside of normal space.
Mm.
And all I can think of was Ant-Man and like the
Right.
quantum realm.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, that's DC Marvel. Is this how we get the? Is this how we get the overlap?
Well,
Is this how we get
this would
the?
I would imagine, if anything, because I'm not too familiar with DC Comics, but they do have like an Atom Man, which is similar to Ant
Yeah,
Man.
yeah.
So like with what's the name of that company? Because they showed that company in Justice League. I just feel like that was something that they would invent, but the White Dragon here has that technology.
Yeah,
I
a
gotta
lot,
remember the
a
name
lot
of
in
that
that
company.
scene.
Do you know who I'm talking about? Just random.
There's so many companies. I'm like trying to think of any of
Uh,
them. I feel like I could see the logo. It's two in my
all right, I'm
brain,
gonna
but
look
none
it
of
up.
the words. While you're looking that up,
Mm-hmm.
before Peacemaker finds out about his dad, before he even goes back to his dad's house to get more helmets, we had the team kind of revisit at the headquarters, and something that I thought kind of was a callback to what we talked about in our last episode was how Adebayo is so unfit for like this Black Ops squad and all of the things it requires of someone. And I feel like maybe this is the turning point for her. I think this episode was kind of big because it starts off with her kind of getting chewed out by Harcourt about choking. In that previous episode,
Mm-hmm.
like she just wasn't willing to shoot somebody,
Mm-hmm.
and she's kind of like, "You need to grow some balls to be in this. Like we are black ops. There are secrets. You just kind of have to deal with it. This is the world you stepped into."
Mm-hmm.
And so I really like that they established that in the beginning because we literally talked about it in that previous in our last episode. Um, and later down the road, we do see her. I forget who did she shoot. I think it's Judo Master because Judo Master
Yeah,
escapes.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so I thought this was a cool episode for Adebayo. I feel like we start to see some of her potential, her like manipulation skills, which I think are kind of a call to her mom, not to the degree I expected,
Right.
but I'm just trying to give her some credit.
I'm not. I'm really not. Just because I don't see anything. I am yet to see why, if anything, her mom would put her in this type of danger. Because as of right now, I'm saying it's danger because she's not showing any particular skill set. Yeah, she admitted that she passed some super spy course at the age of 14, but then hardcore was just like, that's child's play. Like, get
Kid
out of here.
stuff,
Yeah,
yeah.
you know? So, as far as her abilities, it's still a question mark. And uh, say yes, episode 3, we saw her choke, but at the same time, I I here with the whole escape situation, right? With the judo master escaping, I am curious if her shooting judo master is on purpose. You know, like it was like kind of one of
Mm,
those, just like right before he can say something, she just takes him out.
yes,
You know, like
this is
that's
so
the kind of
true.
feel that I got from that quick scene. You know, so
You know
like
what?
yeah,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
John Cena was just like on some, yeah, you know, this was kind of my rematch, but it was really on the cusp of Judo Master about to admit the butterflies are kind of not what they seem, but right before he can
Mhm.
say it, she takes him out. So she may have some underlying like cloak and dagger. It's not on the surface
Yeah.
because she's putting it out as like a scared little spy, but who knows?
Mhm.
There may be something underneath to where she may have ulterior motives. Who knows?
And like we can assume she probably knows something that the team doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
And we know Amanda Waller for sure does. So it's kind of like how far does that go?
Yeah.
But I feel like, at the start of the episode, kind of that scene I was referring to where she's having that conversation with Harcourt.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think it's genuine where she's like, I've never shot anyone, I've never tried to shoot anybody, I've never been in this situation. Like
Mm-hmm.
there's no argument that this person was not qualified to enter this task force that she's been put into.
Right.
But I feel like this episode is like a blossom of like maybe she can live up to it a little bit. Like this is like a baby step. Realistically, it doesn't happen where we normally see it, where it's like, Miles Morales was not ready to like become Spider-Man, and then he just jumps off the building and he's like, I believe now, and then everything changes. Like I think this is maybe like a leaf to open to her potential. But to
Uh-huh.
your point, like what side is she playing? Like,
Right.
was it
Right.
intentional to shoot him because he was about to reveal something? Was
Mm-hmm.
that genuinely just the timing? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
One thing's for sure is that she's definitely not aware of the monster that her mom is, because when her and Harcourt have kind of a heart to heart at the end,
Mm-hmm.
and she's kind of giving her some props, like, hey, when I killed someone, I didn't have my period for months, like
Right.
it's, kind of acknowledging that she's, moving forward. She makes a comment of like, oh, the pain, or like yeah, I think something like that, like the pain of killing someone, even if it is like someone who you see on the opposite side of good,
Yeah.
is a good thing because it keeps you from becoming like Amanda Waller where you can just kill anyone like nothing. And there's like some, I don't know, you see her still trying to digest what her mom really is, because I
Yeah.
don't think she realizes that, So
Right.
it's interesting. There's a lot to like look into that for sure.
Um, say when it comes down to um this whole butterfly situation. Um, I'm curious just to see, because you kind of mentioned it earlier. It's kind of like on some borderline Starro, but I'm curious to know, do or we don't have the answer to this. So, do you think that uh, butterflies can tell each other apart?
I don't know. I wonder. I wonder if they can. I feel like it would make sense for them, like, to be able to, but it's like
Mm-hmm.
how?
Mm-hmm.
Um, I want to say they can.
Okay.
But I wouldn't know like the means for them to do that. Is it like
Right.
something like we know they're enhanced, like
Right.
they're enhanced in like abilities. Maybe they can smell each other. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Maybe. Maybe.
Yeah, but in trying to figure out more about butterflies, where I'm like trying to find some reference to the comics to give us some clues as to where this is kind of coming around, especially with episode 4 establishing there's probably more to these butterflies than we've initially been told that there is.
Mm-hmm.
And it came out to nothing. Apparently, they're not based on anything directly from the comics,
Mm-hmm.
so it's kind of like anything is up for grabs. Like there's some things storyline wise that have been very similar,
Mm-hmm.
but nothing is a direct source. So really, right now, it's all like guesswork from what we've been seeing, in episode 4 or 5 and all the previous ones.
Right.
Once we get into episode 5, we do get to learn a little bit more about they're them somewhat with this like slideshow
Yeah.
that John puts together, but that's pretty much as much as we know.
Say, because we were about to get into episode 5, but like, say before episode 4 ends, there was a question that I had in episode 3 that, wait, hold on, off topic. Did you get another tattoo?
I did. You've literally seen me in person, bro.
I
Like
haven't seen
I,
this
I
butterfly tattoo before.
I wore this
Butterfly,
exact
your
shirt.
project butterfly right there.
I got it just for the show, guys. It's
Oh
so
my
new.
goodness. All right. No, I've only seen the Gamora and the was it a queen card? But
I
anyway.
have it's like my Queen of Diamonds
Yeah.
for Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
I
right.
have another one coming up soon, so I'll have to just. I'll. I guess I gotta memo you.
Yeah,
I got
you
to
can't
send you like a
surprise me. I was
direct.
like, wait, hold on there. But anywho, the question that I had from episode 3, okay? I know we're kind of backtracking, but when we see the family of butterflies start to eat their goop or whatnot, you hear Mern like they say, hey, they have this stuff that they're eating, and then Mern's just like, they're butterflies, and then Harcourt is just like, how do you know? And we didn't get an answer.
Hmm.
Now fast forward to the end of episode 4, we find out that Mern himself is a butterfly eating the same
Yes.
goop. So,
Yes. See, once we found out that the butterfly from episode 3 was still alive, I was like, oh no. Oh no, it's gonna happen. Like he's gonna inhabit somebody, and I was
mhm.
like, Mern, because that's kind of what we thought in episode 3.
I'm
And
still
come to
I'm still
find
open to that
out,
idea because being that John, or why do I keep calling him John Cena, but being that Peacemaker has it, I feel like later on down the line, foreshadow, it gets
it worries
loose,
me.
and yeah, it'll take over somebody on the team.
It's gonna go through someone's orifice. I like someone on the team for sure.
Hopefully,
Someone on
if
the team for
anything,
sure.
all right, I'm gonna place bets. I'm gonna say that it takes over White Dragon, and he has a new change of heart because he's no longer himself. He is a butterfly, and he's no longer racist. That is my
You know
prediction right there.
something? Not, okay, I'll take it. Like, I'm not saying it's not going to happen. Who knows? But, to kind of like along the lines that you're saying, like maybe what we find out is that the butterflies aren't all like innately evil.
Right.
I don't know. Because we clearly still have more to find out. As of now, like they're established to be just like, aliens invading Earth, which is bad for us. So we see the incentive to want to take them out. But it sounds like there's a lot more going on there. And I wonder if maybe like that's the situation. Like, hey, like White Dragon is much better off as a butterfly. Let's just leave it be. Like, let's let
Right.
that kind of stay as it is.
Well, like say the way that episode 4 ended in us finding out that Mern is an actual butterfly. This is where I'm over here kind of putting things together as far as why it's Adebayo, right? That's how you pronounce her name.
Yes.
Why
Mm-hmm.
Adebayo is on this team, because no matter what, since episode 1 we found out that Waller put her on this team to be eyes and ears on this team, not necessarily to complete a mission, which she did give her a mission of planting a journal, and we'll get into that in episode 5, but to be eyes and ears. So I'm just more so now thinking that Waller suspects something foul here. She may not believe that Myrn is a butterfly, but she maybe suspects something. So now it's kind of a little bit more clear as to why Adebayo is on that team.
And I don't think you're far off. And also just looking at like her track record, right? Like Suicide Squad, the first one, the
Mm-hmm.
mission wasn't clear. Like the mission they needed to accomplish, but they didn't know was to just retrieve her from her location.
Mm-hmm.
Suicide Squad 2, they thought they were gonna destroy like Starro, but in reality they needed to destroy the record so that no one knew America was involved in all of that.
Right. Right.
So it's safe to assume that whatever mission they think they're on is not exactly what it is, and they're kind of doing Amanda's dirty work to some degree. So I definitely don't disagree. Like I think Adebayo is definitely her initial or Amanda's initial reason to wanting to put her on was more so just like as her eyes and ears the way Peacemaker was
Mm-hmm.
in Suicide Squad 2. But I feel like her friendship with the team is genuine. Like I feel like her, especially as we get into episode 5 and they have like this really sweet moment at the apartment.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like she's gonna grow and develop and start to maybe build a skill set that she doesn't already have, or just become more of what we were set up to believe she was, but maybe on the side of like with Peacemaker, versus her mom, especially as she starts to realize kind of the person that she really is.
And oh, sorry, I randomly found that company I was telling you about. I found it a while ago. Star Labs
Yes.
was the company I was talking about, but I wanted to look it up on IMDb first, but um I'm just gonna pose a question before we move on to episode 5 because we got to get going. Do you
Mm.
think that Amanda Waller, the actress, is gonna make another cameo? Just because I feel like this may be on some like one and done, and she did like honestly, all she did was like a Zoom, like a FaceTime, and then that was that. Do you think that we'll see her again in future episodes?
I feel like we will. I think similar to how we're anticipating a confrontation between Peacemaker and his dad, I feel
Mm-hmm.
like I expect something somewhat similar with Adebayo and Amanda Waller.
Mm-hmm.
So I think so. Like maybe not FaceTime, like maybe in person. Honestly, FaceTime might do. And like Adebayo hangs up and is like, goodbye, mother, and just
I
like
hate
moves
you.
on. And before we do move on to episode 5,
Mm-hmm.
because there was just like a really sweet moment that I loved about Vigilante when he's in prison and is basically
Oh right,
confronting
we didn't even talk
the
the
White
prison scene. Yeah,
Dragon.
yeah, yeah. I'm with that. Keep going.
Um, but before I even get into it, I just love how he gets himself arrested. Like he's just antagonizing everybody, the police, antagonizing like the white supremacist gang. Like
Right.
he's just poking sticks at people.
Mm-hmm.
But I do love how before they get separated by the guards, he just stares straight into like the white dragon's eyes and says, "You're a bad dad." And I
Yeah.
was just like, "Oh, that's right. Like that's Peacemaker's best friend telling it how it is." And you see White Dragon's face like gets so scared because he realizes why he's there,
Mm-hmm.
what his mission is, and he's like, "I gotta see the detective. I gotta see
Right.
the detective."
Right.
I loved that. I
Yeah,
loved
that
seeing him
whole
squirm. That was so
exchange
good.
that he did with that I think that's the reason why he's grown on me. Like him coming to the table, and he's like, "Let's talk about how black people did this," and then that whole table is like, "Are you fucking serious?" And I was like, "Oh shit's about to get real." Can Vigilante handle himself? And he did. I thought these dudes were gonna be super macho, but like Vigilante just took him out, knocked him out like it was nothing. And the dad was smart enough. He was like, "Yo, there's cameras everywhere. I'm not really,
Yeah,
I'm not looking to be the
I'm
aggressor
not
here."
about
Right.
it. Vigilante just like confronting racism at like, ooh, like
Yeah.
I'm here to just. I loved it. I
Yep.
loved all of it. It
Yep.
was so good.
All right. You want to get into episode 5?
I'm
All
ready.
right, episode 5. From here, because episode 4 kind of ends with a whole crashing sequence of the Peacemaker feeling bad about his dad and his brother. We don't get a full idea of what's going on or what happened to his brother when he was younger. But Adebayo let him know that in the file, it's kind of noted that something happened to his brother and he is somehow involved. So he's kind of going down in a downward spiral. And at the end of episode 4, you're gonna hate me for saying this, but I'm kind of getting tired of watching John Cena dance. Okay, if we can just kind of move the dancing sequences out of here.
Wrong. Wrong.
I've
Skip
already
it. They're
I've
not
already
for you. That's
skipped I've
okay.
already skipped the intro. I'm not trying to skip any other pieces of the show. You know what I'm saying?
I
But
watch it every time. Every time. Like the last time I watched it, I guess I think I was watching episode 5 last night. I was just like, see, I need to make Chill learn the dance moves, and then we
you're
can
never,
like.
never, ever, never. I'd rather go to this fight tonight and just leave my hand down, leave my guard down, and then
I'm not dancing.
learn this super robotic dance that not only John Cena but every single person in the sequence in the intro just looks awkward doing it. You know what I'm saying? So
That's what it's supposed to be. They're
yeah,
meant to look
yeah,
awkward.
yeah.
It's amazing.
But
Amazing.
I'm not gonna lie. I tried to watch it again today when I was watching episode 5, and surprisingly enough, the only person that looked like they had rhythm was Vigilante. You gotta watch him in the back. He's out here
Okay.
like getting
Okay.
some. I was like, all right, it's not totally robotic here. He's actually killing it a little bit. I won't say he's killing it, but he's doing all right dancing. But
We'll give them
anywho,
props.
episode 5 opens up with Peacemaker making some type of
Breakfast.
remedy for hangovers. I've seen that the whole egg, but that was like Rocky, like in a montage of him getting ready for a fight. But as far as like a raw egg mixed with whatever Peacemaker mix it with, I'm like, come on, fam, that's nasty and that's gross.
You don't
And
know what you're missing. Maybe that's what you need to win your fight tonight. Like maybe that's the key.
yeah, no, because later in the episode, Adebayo, like, she confirmed as far as his level of taste in making stuff is not that great. So I'm good.
Okay. I'll leave
I'll
it. I
pass.
do love how like he's having his sad breakfast and then he's also feeding like the butterfly. Like I don't know if the butterfly likes him too now, but he's taking care of this guy. Like at this point, like that's his pet. And I'm wondering if like I don't know. Like I want to know why. Like why are you keeping it? Like I thought at some
Right.
point maybe he was gonna give it to the team and be like, actually, I did keep the butterfly and here it is. Now I'm just like, are you just lonely? Is this
There
kind of
is
going back
no,
to
yeah, there's no telling. Like, we can't say if the butterfly likes it or likes him. The butterfly is trapped in a jar and it is trying to survive. So it is just
this
going
is
to eat
true.
the goop or whatnot. And then if it doesn't take over anybody, it's going to take over Eagly. And John Cena is going to have to take Eagly out. Calling it prediction
No.
number 2. I'm just prediction out today. I'm going to just throw a whole bunch of predictions out.
Why would you say that? That is abusive animal. PETA. Like, no,
It's
not
HBO.
equally.
It's for the adults. And that's the direction
Dang.
it could go.
I'll leave it. Okay.
Um,
Well, after that, the scene kind of transitions into seeing a little bit more of Adebayo's like struggles with managing like the work life and the marriage life. You can tell
mhm.
the wifey is very upset with like just how much attention she's taking to the job.
Yeah.
Telling Adebayo like you're choosing this now. Like this is no longer just because we both lost our jobs, et cetera, et cetera. So
Mhm.
our girl is stressing for sure.
But this is one of those to where I feel like the wife knows what the assignment is, okay? I mean, she may not know the specifics, but she
Mhm.
has a general idea that this is some spy stuff because she knows what her mom is. So the wife, if anything, I feel should be a little bit more understanding. I don't want to just
Mhm.
put Hawkeye's wife out here, but be a little bit more like Hawkeye's wife. She may not be in danger. Like Adebayo may not be in danger, but you're gonna have to understand that I'm working on some serious stuff right now, and I don't want you to get hurt. So if you could, like, I told you to go home, take care of the
Hmm.
puppies. I love you, and I'm not choosing the job over you. I'm just more so making you safe. Does that?
Yeah, and you know something? I don't disagree whatsoever. But just to give like the wife a little bit of credit, I don't think either of them realized how much this job was going to demand of Adebayo. We kind of established that in the last few episodes. Like she was very much in over her head and in what this assignment was going to take in.
Right.
So I'm assuming, Adebayo is obviously learning how much this job is actually demanding of her
Mm-hmm.
as it's going. Like the wife doesn't have that insight. So it may be that there's just like a lack of communication between the expectation to what this is actually entailing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know, but I think by the end of it, because I think the wife definitely sees the stress that our girl is like experiencing, she
Yeah.
kind of like backed up a little bit and had some empathy. But I feel like that is really what it is. Like I don't think either of them realized what they were really going
Right.
into. You know?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're getting more out of bio. But did you notice that in this episode, because I don't know where we are timeline wise. I'm gonna talk about the timeline just for a second. But say episode 3, Vigilante gets his toe chopped off. Episode
Hmm.
4, Vigilante still limping around. Episode 5, Vigilante is right as rain. Did you kind of catch that, him walking around like everything was all good, like he wasn't
I didn't
complaining
catch
about his
that.
foot and he was walking totally fine. So I'm just like, how far since the
A
events of
day.
episode 4 are we from episode 5, you know?
I feel like we're taking it day by day. So I feel like it's really just the day after. I think like definitely no more than like a few days. So
Right.
you're totally right. Continuity wise, like this is an error, you
Yeah.
know?
Mm-hmm.
And, so just speaking of continuity, so something that like I think in the episode 4 that John says, because everyone's like yelling at John, like
Mm-hmm.
economist is feeling it.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone is just like, I think in the last episode he said something along the lines of like, why is everybody like fuck youing me,
Right.
like,
Right.
and so in this episode, our boy John like sets up this like whole what is it like a PowerPoint
Mm-hmm.
on, Project Butterfly, what we know so far, all these graphics, and everyone's just like setting every little detail on fire. Like, oh, why is there a chimpanzee, or why is there a
Mm-hmm.
gorilla? Is it supposed to be his friend? And so it's. I feel bad for John. I'm like,
I
come
don't. Just
on.
because John is, he may seem soft, but he is a soft asshole. And by that I mean, I'm like, say if I'm Mern, right? And I'm talking about, I forgot what it was he was kind of talking about. Oh, he was upset that Adebayo manipulated Peacemaker is, or no, not Peacemaker,
Yeah.
Vigilante killing his dad. But then uh John, he said something slick to where, I'm gonna throw an FU bomb at you, and like, and you may seem like a geek or a nerd, but you are low key kind of annoying, and that's how I kind of
This
see John, as like, he's a little bit of annoying little girly man.
See, I'll take soft asshole. I feel like that's a pretty good description. Like, I think Peacekeeper would kind of align to that as well. Like, the situation that you're talking about, because it's the same one I was referring to. It's like right where he says, like, why is everybody FUing me?
Right.
Is where like, what he says is he's clarifying, because I think it's a Mern goes at a bio because,
Right.
the whole manipulation. He's like, so you're thinking that by manipulating his best friend to kill his father,
Oh, the
that
whole
was
Eagly
okay.
situation.
Yes,
Yeah,
and that
yeah.
yeah, and then that's where John is like, Eagly's his best friend.
Yep.
Just to clarify, he's like, I just want to make sure no one thinks Eagly's the one who was trying to kill the father.
Right. And even
So
before Harcourt said what she said, I'm already just like, come on, man. You know we're not talking about Eagly. Like, why would you
maybe
even say something like that, you know?
maybe I have empathy because I feel like that's something I would say. I'm like, I just want to clarify for if everybody, we're talking about vigilante, not eagerly. Like maybe that's why I have empathy for the guy.
Yeah. Nah. But like say come
Um,
this PowerPoint presentation, I feel like the only person, if anything, like say if I were in this group and after the events of episode 4, I would have just let him have it. It looked like he did take some time to put this PowerPoint together, but I would say that Peacemaker has every right to be upset with him, being that this is
oh
the first
yeah.
confrontation that he's had with him as far as learning that he put his father in jail. So
Oh,
yeah.
that's totally
Yeah,
fair.
yeah,
Totally
yeah, yeah,
fair.
yeah. So if
And
anybody, minus Vigilante, everybody else, they could have stayed quiet, but Peacemaker, they could have just went in.
I get that. No, 100%. And then back to why I brought this up with continuity is I feel like, and this is something my partner pointed out, I don't think he's dyeing his beard anymore because his beard is getting
You
whiter
starting to see
every
some roots.
episode. Yes, I feel like Peacemaker got to him because he's been calling him Dyebeard, and so I think he's finally got to him. I feel like there's more white in his beard in this episode than say like that first one, but that was just something I noticed continuity wise.
Yeah, I actually did peep that too. Like I'm starting to see, I didn't know if it was like gray or blonde, but I'm starting to see the dye getting further and further away from his chin. So yeah,
Yes.
I did peep that, and I did want to kind of briefly scope over episode 4. I know I keep going back and forth, but I was wondering where this gorilla was gonna come into play because it was in the news, gorilla escape
Yes.
or stolen or something like that. And I was
Mm.
like, okay, cool. We're gonna get a gorilla in episode 4. But fast forward to episode 5, because I thought we honestly just got left hanging last week with the whole gorilla situation. But
See, yeah, no, no, same. Because when I saw the news, it's like they were talking about a gorilla, and I was like, "Ooh, are they going to say Grog?" Because that's like the one I think
right,
of when I think of
right, right.
DC. But
Mm-hmm.
they did say a name, and it wasn't Grog. So then I'm like, I just kind of left it, like I let it fly.
Yeah.
And so then come here, and obviously, like we get like that we get that follow through with the gorilla,
Yeah.
right? And we
Yeah, 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 yeah.
learn that not only do the butterflies have the ability to inhabit the bodies of like just humans, but any life form that
Mm-hmm.
they can physically go into. So obviously they can't go into something as small as say like a dog or an eagle, but who knows? Eagles are pretty big. But they can go
We
into like
don't know.
gorillas and other things. It's still, yeah, so eagles still on the on the menu, if you will.
Yeah.
And just to kind of summarize everything we know so far about like Project Butterfly or just the butterflies in general. So they're aliens that can crawl through any orifice, right?
Mm-hmm.
North or south.
Mm-hmm.
They feed. There's this fluid that seems to be their only food source, and so
Mm-hmm.
in this episode, they find what they believe to be um, where the food source is essentially made and
Mm-hmm.
is being distributed throughout the continent, which is huge, right? Because if they can take out the food source, they ultimately take out all the butterflies.
Can I
Um,
stop you right there?
yes.
Just
Mhm.
because that right there gave me confirmation that a Harcourt is not a butterfly. Because as far as how dark and like how she doesn't really show emotion like that, she's kind of like Captain Marvel over here. I was thinking that she could have been a butterfly, but being that they established that that's their only food source, I was like, well, she was having trail mix on that stakeout, so she's definitely not a butterfly.
I love how you're like, there was trail mix. She's in the clear, guys. She's not a
Yep, she's
butterfly.
good. Yep, she had that.
I do love how she I do love how she's kind of dropping some of her like harsh exterior like with every single episode. This
Mm-hmm.
one in particular, we
Yeah.
definitely see like a really good team bonding that I love, especially like on the commute. I feel like we have a lot of heart to hearts in like cars and like commute time. Like
Right.
that's where a lot of these characters are kind of coming together,
Mm-hmm.
and where Peacemaker and John had a lot of conflict as this episode started out. They definitely bonded over like their music. John has this like very faded out tattoo, of a song that they both really love. And
Mm-hmm.
so I love this episode because it's like we're seeing those characters kind of soften up, like warm up to each other. Very similar to how we saw like the squad in Suicide Squad 2 really start to like warm up and become more of a true
Team.
team.
Yeah.
They even have a group chat. That was so cool.
Yeah.
I wrote down, what's the name? Hold on,
The
I got it.
11th
It's
Street
the 11th Street Kids.
kids.
It's
Yeah.
so good.
Yeah.
I love it. Love
So,
it.
with episode 4, they're in that factory, and everybody in the factory is a butterfly. But here we get to see another helmet from Peacemaker. This time it is the X-ray helmet, which is super essential because it was on some shoot first, ask questions later. Because Adebayo was like, "Yo, you're gonna be chill. You're gonna relax." Like, and he's like, "Oh yeah," and he just turns it on and just starts shooting no matter what because he sees that they're butterflies. So I think that no matter how much you want to hate the White Dragon, the helmets that he makes are kind of cool. You know, it'd be cooler if he could make like an all-in-one, and Peacemaker doesn't have to like. He's
Have
like, oh, I
20 of them.
have the X-ray helmet today, or the other one from the first episode. You know, instead of having it all in different ones, have all in one. But, um,
Yeah. I wonder if so something that I thought this was reminded me of was like the trick arrows with Hawkeye. Like I
mm-hmm.
wonder if we're gonna see more because we know he took like a bunch from
Yeah,
the
he
fortress
took
in
the
the
whole
previous
thing. Yeah, yeah,
episode.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And this one, like the I was gonna say the see-through one. What is it? X-ray.
X-ray.
The X-ray
Mm-hmm.
vision one was hinted at in episode 4 because you saw the plaque. I was trying to see if I can see the other plaques to get an idea of what other like powers that we're going to see down the road, but I guess it's going to have to be a mystery because I couldn't read it.
Yeah,
It was too blurry.
yeah.
But I kind of like it in just that it gives me like a Hawkeye trick arrow kind of vibe, and I'm excited to see others. But functionally, it would just make more sense if they were just one,
Right.
one helmet. Yeah.
Um, I don't know. They all look weird. Like I'm looking at the actual poster of Peacemaker and just looking at this helmet. I just wish that, if anything, they all look, I don't know, cooler, a little bit
Normal.
more tactical. You know, it like I feel like in Suicide Squad, someone cracked a joke saying it looked like a toilet bowl or something like that. But
Yes.
just looking at this one, like there is a distinct difference to where I guess there's like a piece of the middle missing. So it's like, oh,
Hmm.
this is the X-ray helmet, you know? But yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm all for, if anything, making it an all-in-one type of thing. But I doubt that we're gonna get that, being that the relationship between him and his dad is. I don't want to say over, but his dad kind of made it clear that he's gonna snitch him out, and he doesn't really claim the Peacemaker.
Yeah, which is so sad. Like in episode 4, when he was just like, "I never liked you. Your brother, he was cool. You, I could have gotten rid of."
Mm-hmm.
And just going back to the costumes, I think something that the series is doing really well is that a lot of the costumes are they very much resemble that of the comics.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, the helmet is funky looking. It looks like a toilet, but it looks pretty on point
That's what it looked like in the
to
comic
the
book.
comics. Yeah, and I wish I took snippets. I know I gave you a snippet for the White Dragon, and I don't know if we showed the one from
We haven't
Vigilante
shown
just yet.
Vigilante yet. Yeah,
Let's
yeah,
show it.
yeah. Okay.
That one was pretty dope because I feel like the lions in the costume were
Yeah.
almost identical in the
Mm-hmm.
show and the comics. So we'll definitely bring that up in the next one so you guys can kind of see the comparisons.
That's pretty
But
cool.
yes, it's
Yeah.
very true to the comics for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. And I'm trying to think, was there anything else in episode 5? Oh, so chainsaw scene. Okay.
I love
Vigilante.
how there's so much like storyline with like the witnesses and the detectives that they're getting closer, and you're like, chainsaw, we must get to the
I just want to knock
chainsaw.
it out just because at the
Let's
end
do
of the
it.
day, Vigilante was gonna come out of their little truck ready to kill some butterflies with a chainsaw, and Harcourt was just like, "Nope, put it away, put it down," like as if he's a child, you know. And all he wanted to do is just kill something with a chainsaw. Then fast forward, we're killing butterflies left and right, and Harcourt and Vigilante get locked in this room with the gorilla that there we find out is controlled by a butterfly. And the gorilla did speak. It said something like humans or something like that. So the butterfly is pretty much an intelligent being enough just to control this gorilla and make him speak. But Vigilante's in there. He doesn't have a chainsaw. it looks like everybody's about to die because by this point, Peacemaker is in there along with Adebayo, and this gorilla's just kind of taking everybody out. And then all of a sudden, we hear the chainsaw, boom, and Diebeard comes in with it. That's something. It was totally unexpected. I wasn't expecting him to come in with them, but he didn't. He lost communication, of course. I was expecting him to
Right.
flee, but he earned some points with Peacemaker. Yeah, they had their bond in the truck as far as music, but this I feel kind of like solidified that bond. Like he's like, okay, now you're cool. You know what I'm saying? You came in, you
Yeah.
killed this gorilla.
For as much shit as John gets, like he's been, I think it was in episode 3, right? Because he's the one who took down the judo master,
Yeah.
and then here he gets another like really like redeeming moment.
Mm-hmm.
I love how hyped he gets himself. Like I think it was after episode 3, so in episode 4, he was like John Economist, motherfuckers. Like
Right.
it's like
Right.
I love how hyped he gets. So I like how the episode kind of wrapped up, and the team like despite their turmoils, despite like their little problems they kind of have within the group, like they're becoming a team. They even solidify it. They solidify it with the chat, that like picture that they're like sending around. And something that I did love is that it was Hardcore who is initiating that. Like she initiated the chat, she
Mm-hmm.
sent out the picture to everybody, and I like that because she seemed to be like the less likely one to follow suit. So
Yeah.
I think that really solidifies that the team is together, which I'm assuming in the next episodes we see, we're going to start to reveal what's behind all of that.
Yeah.
Maybe Peacemaker finds out that Adebayo was trying to manipulate
Vigilante.
Vigilante into
Mm-hmm.
killing his father. Maybe that causes more turmoil. Like I know there's going to be conflict to come now that the team is kind of happy.
And just to kind of piggyback off of Economist, his excitement, just from what I've seen, because I don't know for a fact because I don't work for the government, but when it comes down to certain government agencies with 3 letters, there's two type of people that work. It's either the analyst or the operator. And the operator, they get all the action, and the analysts, they're the ones behind the computer. So if you can imagine, economists actually taking out judo master, and then this gorilla, he's finally seeing some action that he would never see. This is something that hardcore would see on a regular basis while he's
Yes,
behind a computer screen. So he's just there. He's excited. He's not the type to. Well, I can't say it because I don't know, but I would say that he wouldn't be the type to just go out there and be ready to be like mission ready on some operator type mission. But if he can get it in where he can, I'm sure he's happy no matter what.
absolutely. And a couple things from this episode. So we obviously see the detectives get a lot closer to what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's Detective Song who starts to pick the pieces. She, gets the fingerprints, matches them, and she realizes Peacemaker's behind all of this.
Yeah.
We even get like another revisit of like that couple, and I just love how in the background the wife is like,
Yeah.
you know,
Calling him out.
calling out the.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's so good.
Mm-hmm.
It's so good. And there's another part that I was going to mention along those lines. I forget who mentions it. I think it's one of the butterflies when they're in like the distribution
Uh
area
huh.
that they say, it says something like your friends are with Charlie, right? And they refer to this person Charlie as like
Right.
the guardian angel. And I'm wondering
Right.
if this is Mern's, or
No, the
maybe it's
gorilla is
Amanda
Charlie.
Waller.
Gorilla's
Oh,
Charlie.
that's Charlie.
Yeah, like
Oh,
saying when
just
he was just
kidding.
like, "Oh, your friends are with Charlie," like kind
In
of
the
locked.
thing.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah, in the room.
Okay.
So
I'm
yeah,
so happy I mentioned it. In my head, I'm like, okay, big question on the board.
right.
Who's
Yep,
Charlie?
the gorilla.
Okay, cool. I can scratch that one out. Just kidding.
Okay, and I think from there, cause just based on time, I'm just kind of getting to the juice, the cheese may of the very end of the episode. When it comes down to back to this helmet, this X-ray helmet.
Yes.
Adebayo, like you mentioned before, she's kind of going through something with her wife, but we get this voicemail that she leaves to where she is being hit hard with everything at the same time because she's not used to this, but She makes her way back to the headquarters, find this helmet, and starts looking around. And she's like, "Oh man, this is kind of crazy, you know." And this right when she put it on, you can already suspect what's gonna happen. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's like, all right, this is where she finds out. So now she turns around and sees Mern. I don't know why I like saying Mern with like a little neck jerk, like Mern
Mern.
Mern. But she sees the butterfly and Mern, and honestly, I didn't even know, because this episode is like, I didn't really pause it to see what we actually saw in the brain that John Cena was shooting at.
Mhm.
But when she looked at Mern, I was like, oh, there's the shape in the brain. Like, that's the butterfly.
Butterfly.
And she almost got out of there. But now the question is, what does Mern do at this point? Because he knows that she's connected to Waller, and if he does something, Waller, we
Ooh.
already have an idea that Waller suspects something's off with his team. Maybe she suspects something's off with Mern, and if he kills Adebayo, then who knows? Waller can send the rest of the Suicide Squad, enter Will Smith, bring back Bloodsport. No, not
Yes, and
Bloodsport.
we know,
He's
I know,
Deadshot.
Deadshot,
Yeah,
Deadshot, and
bring back Deadshot.
we're probably gonna see Will Smith reprise his role of Deadshot somewhere down the road. That's the whole reason that they didn't recast him, but they introduced Bloodsport instead, just to
Mhm.
leave that door open.
Mhm.
I would love that. I would love to see like more of the Suicide Squad appear. I'm wondering though if Amanda Waller knows that Myrn is a butterfly, and there's more behind the whole Project Butterfly in and of itself,
Mhm.
where because we know that they've infiltrated everywhere, politicians,
Mhm.
celebrities, everywhere. So we know the situation is deeper than we thought, and
Yeah.
it continues to get deeper.
Just as
And
far as how deep, I'm gonna pose a hypothetical question at you, because this is again connected to the DC universe. Do you believe that Lex Luthor knows about butterflies?
huh, I don't know.
He knows about metahumans, like he had that before Bruce Wayne. So
Right.
I'm curious if he knows, like, kind of going beyond the whole metahuman, just search and see if there's anything else extraterrestrial out there, you know? So I was kind of curious in watching this episode. I was like, these people here that we see in this show, they can't be the only ones to know about it. And if anything, if butterflies are kind of within, like they stated, like the higher ups or whatnot, who knows? Lex Luthor may be a butterfly. I'm not gonna say that and say
Yeah.
it, but I'm curious if anything, if they can connect butterflies to the rest of the universe.
And now knowing that, like with obviously the X-ray vision, you're able to identify the butterflies.
Yeah.
Like Superman could just like go through, and we know he's been resurrected.
Oh
Like
yeah.
maybe
Definitely.
So there,
Mm-hmm.
it's like how deep into the rest of like the DC like universe is this gonna trend into?
Yeah.
But before we wrap up, because I just wanted to make sure that we talk about that little heart to heart that Adebayo and Peacemaker have back at his
All
apartment.
right.
This is where they drink the quote unquote feces drink,
Nasty.
right?
Yeah. The
Because
nastiness.
I think he accidentally served them the liquid that the butterflies live off
Are you
of. I think
serious?
that's what
No, no,
he.
no, no, no.
Yes,
I don't think
rewatch the
so.
scene.
Yeah.
Hold on, no. Hear me out. Hear me out. I because he pretends to like the drink. Like I think he realized his mistake
Uh huh.
and he was like, "Yeah, it's good," and
Oh.
like, and then they just
Ooh.
kind of put it to the side.
Mm-hmm.
I think he accidentally served them the drink.
I'm
I
gonna
could
have to
be wrong.
watch it
That
again.
was my first
Yeah.
impression.
I'm gonna have to watch it.
Um, but while like Adebayo's kind of looking around the apartment, or is it like a trailer? It's a
It's a
trailer, isn't
trailer.
it?
He lives in a trailer
It's a
park.
trailer. Exactly. There's a poster where it's Peacemaker catching the villain Kite Man.
Right.
I know Kite Man from the Harley Quinn animated series. He's such a funny character. He's kind of like a joke of
Mm-hmm.
a supervillain.
Mm-hmm.
And if we see someone like come into the play as like a live action Kite Man, I feel like that would be so cool because he would mesh so well with these kind of secondary tier villains, if you will.
Yeah.
And it was something I caught on one of the newspapers, and I thought it would be kind of cool to see him because I love that character just from seeing him in the Harley Quinn animated series. I thought that was pretty cool.
Okay. All right. Well, did you have anything else?
I think those were the main points.
Okay.
Yes, I think so.
I think I want to wrap with say when it comes down to this Project Butterfly. I think now this is all Mern, and if anything, uh, I don't know what Waller's up to with this whole journal situation. Why she's planting this at Peacemaker's house or trailer,
Mhm.
but think I think Waller may be on the side of good here, even though she's always meant good by doing bad. I think she may be on the side of good. I don't know.
Okay. I mean,
I'm not
could
saying like
be.
I like her more, but she suspects something, and who knows? I actually just looked it up on IMDb. She is in one episode, so we're not gonna see Waller anymore.
Damn. We know IMDb lies.
All right,
So
you're still salty over
they
it.
lie. Yeah. So I don't know. I could definitely see that. I could definitely see that, especially seeing where Adebayo is on this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like she's definitely whatever Adebayo ends up leaning, I don't think she's ever gonna go against her daughter. I would
Mm-hmm.
assume she's not that horrible of a human, but who knows?
Yeah. Who knows? We can't
Based on
call it.
her track record, yeah, based on her track record, I'm still leaning on her being somewhat involved, or maybe not involved, but maybe clearly not showing all the cards,
Right.
you know?
Yeah.
But it does seem like Mearns is maybe like the leader of like the butterflies or something, right? He's infiltrated this like black ops team.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to see where the story takes us from here.
Yeah.
We definitely know Adebayo is safe. Like I don't think Burns is stupid enough to kill her, knowing she's connected to Amanda Waller.
Mm-hmm.
That would be a huge target on his back.
Yeah.
But definitely taking her out of the equation like momentarily, like maybe trapping her somewhere,
Right.
is
It's
where
like,
I,
oh,
I,
I
I am
sent her
assuming.
something. Sent her to do something. Don't worry about it. Like that's what he would tell the team, you know.
Yes,
So,
yes.
all right.
Well, we got three more episodes to go, and then the season wraps up. But I'm loving it so far.
Oh yeah, definitely. Again, they're winning with this one, and I want to see more. And I'm not saying more Peacemaker, but if DC can make more of these type of shows, then I'm all for it. And even if that means like who knows, I may have to actually go watch some of these other ones. I'm not gonna watch any CW. I may watch Doom Patrol because some people were saying that was good. So I may have to check that out. So if y'all are listening and y'all have any DC shows that are to the caliber of Peacemaker, holler at us, let us know, DM us at the Comics Cinematic Universe Instagram, or you can put it in the comments down below on the YouTube. And yeah, let us know what you think is good for us to watch. All right.
I love that.
Cool. All right. Well, that is everything. Grace, I will see you next Friday. And yeah, you all enjoy your weekend. I will let you all know next week how everything goes
If you
tonight.
survive.
Yeah, I may not be streaming for the next few days just depending on what my face look like, you know? So, we will see.
If
um
we cancel Friday's stream, you'll know what
Oh
happened.
no.
You'll know.
We're not going to cancel. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to I'm going to smile right here. I'm going to freeze that frame. I'm going to pull a Grace and I'm going to put like a on the line situation. That's what she did in
Yes.
episode 2. You know what I'm saying? So you'll hear my voice, but I may have to just put an image up instead of my video. So we are going to see.
See, you should just post an image of you with your beat up face, but like smiling. I just feel like that would be kind of cool. That's what I vote for.
We'll see.
Think about it.
Yeah. All right, you guys. You all have a great weekend, and we will catch you all next week. Have a good one.
See you guys.